Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of GM Mode. My name is Kaiser Wrestling. I'm going to be your host alongside Aiden Pacini Wrestling, who is the host of Monday Night Raw. And I got to say, we have one hell of a show in store for you guys tonight, because right now, we're going to be seeing one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions in action. It is going to be Jimmy Uso going one-on-one with Connor, who is one half of the Ascension, and they will be earning an opportunity for the SmackDown Tag Team titles of the Payback pay-per-view in a couple of weeks, and that is going to be one hell of a tag team showdown. And later on tonight, we're also going to be having a tag team main event that will literally rock the world. It's going to be the United States Champion AJ Styles teaming up with Kevin Owens to take on the team of John Cena and Chris Jericho. And right after this match, we're going to be hearing from our Chief Commissioner Shane McMahon on what he has planned for Payback, that and so much more. But right now, it is singles tag team action as we have Jimmy Uso going one-on-one against Connor. And a lot of people feel like the Ascension have an opportunity to return to their former glory come the Payback pay-per-view. We have to look back on the NXT repertoire of the Ascension, as they had a lot of success over on the yellow brand, the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions in history. But now they're trying to reciprocate their luck on SmackDown Live against the Usos, and that is not going to be easy at all, as we know that Connor and Victor, they can be very vicious, but the Usos, they are veterans in the game. They've been in the tag team for a very long time here in the WWE, and they have no plan and no intention on giving those SmackDown Tag Team Championships to the Ascension come Payback. So this right here is a preview of what we're going to be seeing at the Payback pay-per-view. Of course, it's going to be a tag team affair between the Ascension and the Usos. But tonight is singles competition to see who will gain the momentum. That is what it's all about tonight on SmackDown Live. So if you're just joining us right now, my name is Kaiser Wrestling. Aiden Pacini is the man who started the GM Mode franchise, and we decided to commentate separate shows so that way you guys have different content to look at every single time you log in to GM Mode. So now we have Connor starting out, Jimmy Uso, big time belly-to-belly suplex to get this match started, and all the Ascension wants to do is get in the head of the Usos so that way they can try to strike some fear into their opponents for Payback. So now Connor just bashing the head of Jimmy Uso into the mat right now, and Jey Uso at ringside, Victor as well. So this will be a huge indication on what to expect at the Payback pay-per-view. Who is going to have the upper hand? Will it be the Usos, or will it have the Ascension? And I have to say that the Ascension, they've been pretty impressive over the last couple of weeks here in SmackDown Live. They've been defeating everybody who has come to their path. But now they're facing an almost unstoppable tag team in Jimmy and Jey Uso. Ever since turning the tides and becoming this new persona, bringing this new attitude to the game, they've been almost impossible to stop. As now you see Connor with that vicious scoop slam there on Jimmy Uso, tossing him 5 feet across the ring. That right there just shows you the strength that Connor has in his repertoire. And now Connor, inverted DDT, and down goes Jimmy Uso. So far, one half of the Ascension, they've been leading the charge in this matchup. And now Connor, he went for that elbow right to the face there, Jimmy Uso. And luckily Uso was able to counter. And what about that? Is we saw Jimmy Uso and Connor getting conjoined to each other, but it was Connor who delivered that pendulum backbreaker. A nice back body drop there from Jimmy. Now you see Connor just trying to regain control of this matchup. He's been leading the charge ever since the opening bell, and Jimmy Uso struggling to get out there. And I think a lot of people have to think that Connor most likely has the advantage in a one-on-one affair, because Connor has had a singles career back on NXT earlier on. So Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, they've been a tag team ever since their glory days here in the WWE. Ever since the beginning, it's always been Jimmy and Jey. So in singles competition, we may have to give the flag to Connor. As now you see Jimmy picks up Connor right there. Look at this, as Jimmy Uso with a big-time pile driver. An unorthodox pile driver, I would have to say, but down goes Connor. And I think Connor right now is seeing stars. Snapmare there from Jimmy Uso, covered now by one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and the kick out of 2 there from Connor. So Victor just showing his dissatisfaction with everything that's going on right now, as you see that Connor, he's in a world of trouble, as Jimmy Uso just starting to get the lead. And now Connor puts the leg right behind the leg of Uso and takes him down with a vertical suplex. So you see Connor now a little bit more satisfied with his actions against Jimmy Uso. Victor as well, but now Jimmy Uso roars back with one hell of a forearm right along the face of Connor. And now Jimmy Uso going to the second, and Uso rolling senton right onto the gut of Connor. And now we're starting to see one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions get control of this matchup. But Connor once again sweeping Jimmy Uso off of his feet. So we have to wonder, what are we going to be hearing from our Chief Commissioner Shane McMahon right after this match? It may be a huge announcement regarding the Payback pay-per-view, or it may be just reviewing the card. But whenever Shane McMahon is in the middle of the ring, it's always a big deal. So now Connor is going to the corner there and just teasing the WWE Universe. He's just showing that he is in firm control of Jimmy Uso, who is face down on the mat. It's been a very impressive showing so far by one half of the Ascension. And now, oh, big elbow drop there by Connor. All the weight onto the chest of Jimmy. That's not going to do good for the Usos right now. As you see Connor once again just digging the nails right into the shoulder blade of Jimmy Uso. This right here is isolation training we are seeing from Connor. Not even allowing Jimmy Uso to get to his feet. And when you're facing one of the Usos, that is the game plan that you want to have. Keep them grounded so that way they cannot fly off the top rope, because that is where the Usos are most dangerous. And now an elbow right across the neck. And oh, super kick out of nowhere. Rocking Connor, and Victor now just trying to apply the distraction to allow his tag team partner to get back to his feet. That super kick rocking Connor. He has no idea where he is at. And now Jimmy Uso may have a chance to come back in this matchup. Now the Usos realize that they really need to leave with a victory tonight on SmackDown Live to silence all the critics. Here comes Jimmy! Uso splash! No! Connor moves out of the way. And that could be a crucial mistake for Jimmy Uso. And now Uso elbow right to the gut there of Connor. And now a monkey flip to take down one half of the Ascension. So far Jimmy Uso is looking the goods. Ever since nailing that super kick, he has turned the tides of this matchup. Covered now by Jimmy Uso. Will this be up to Connor away? And no, a kick out at 2. So you have to think that the Usos are paying very close attention to the tag team match that took place last week between the Los Matadores and the New Day, because they may be in line for a future title shot, but a full Nelson slam may be the end for Jimmy Uso. Connor coming out of nowhere with that full Nelson slam. This may be enough to put away Jimmy, and a shoulders up at 2. Very close call for Connor, almost putting away one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions tonight on SmackDown Live. Is now Connor just bashing the head of Jimmy Uso into the mat yet again. And you can see that Connor and Victor just talking some trash, maybe talking some strategy on how to put away Jimmy Uso. So now Jimmy Uso with one hell of a right hand. That floors Connor. And now once again Jimmy Uso trying to roll into the cover to put away Connor. This has been a vicious matchup so far on SmackDown Live. Now Jimmy Uso, what does he have planned now? Just maybe waiting for Connor to get to his feet. Trying to grab a hold of him, but now he finally gets a hold of Connor. What does he have planned now? Is Jimmy Uso, snap DDT, face first into the mat goes Connor. Now Jimmy Uso realizes that he really has to put away his opponent, because Connor has been looking the goods since the opening bell. He does not want to get isolated yet again. And now Jimmy with a blockbuster. Very effective. The neck of Connor hitting the mat straight. And now Jimmy Uso may be able to put away his opponent if he goes for that Uso splash or maybe another super kick. Now instead, Jimmy Uso puts Connor back in the corner. Now look at this. Is now Jimmy Uso stomping on the chest. We all know what's coming now. Paying homage to Rikishi. And there goes a big time stink face right into the face of Connor. Well, normally the stink face has a little bit more of a twerk to it, if you know what I mean, but that right there was enough impact to knock out Connor. And Victor once again just trying to distract Jimmy Uso, and it's working right now as Connor laid out. Jimmy Uso still has a chance to put him away, and now Uso is trying to swing at Victor. That's not going to help his case right now. He has to try to focus on his opponent. Don't allow Connor to gain advantage yet again. But first, right into the face of Connor, and that's going to cause a lot of damage. Ever since that move by Jimmy Uso, Connor has struggled to get back to his feet. And now here comes Jimmy Uso yet again. Jimmy Uso going to the top rope. He went for this before. Here comes Jimmy Uso with the Uso splash onto Connor. This could be it. Covered now by Jimmy Uso. And Jimmy leaves with the victory tonight on SmackDown Live. What a matchup to kick off SmackDown Live in GMO, ladies and gentlemen. Aiden Pacini Wrestling. I hope you enjoy this as well, because we saw one hell of a brawl between these two superstars, and it is going to be a war come the Payback pay-per-view when the SmackDown Tag Team titles are on the line, when the Usos meet the Ascension. But that just shows you right now that the advantage goes to the Usos. That monkey flip from earlier on, very effective by Jimmy. And now you saw Connor with a big time full Nelson slam. Down went Jimmy Uso. He was looking at the lights, but he was able to kick out of that one. And this right here, the Uso splash, crashing right onto the gut and the abdomen of Connor. And that was it. That would knock all the air out of your system. And the Usos lead with the last lap tonight on SmackDown Live. What will happen come the Payback pay-per-view? We will find out in a couple of weeks. But coming up next, we're going to be hearing from our Chief Commissioner, Shane McMahon. What is the boss going to have to say? We're going to find out in a couple of moments on SmackDown Live. Do not go anywhere. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SmackDown Live. We are about to hear a very important announcement from Shane McMahon. Our Chief Commissioner is in the house tonight, and he is in a great mood regarding the Payback pay-per-view coming so soon. And there's been a lot of success on SmackDown Live. We'll get our main event later on tonight as we have Chris Jericho teaming up with John Cena to take on Kevin Owens and the United States Champion AJ Styles. That is coming up right after this announcement from Shane McMahon. So what are we going to be hearing from our Chief Commissioner in a couple of moments? What's up, guys? I gotta say, I'm more than excited to be here right now because SmackDown Live has been the land of opportunity. SmackDown Live has been the A show for a long time, and we are approaching our first pay-per-view here on GM Mode, Payback, and it is going to be one hell of a show. We have so many great matches on that card, featuring a WWE Championship match between Jinder Mahal and the Viper Randy Orton, and so much more. We also have Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn versus Mike Kanellis, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the Usos and the Ascension, and we cannot forget about our featured United States Championship title defense when AJ Styles steps into Hell in a Cell to defend the US title against the face that runs the place, John Cena. You could only find that at the Payback pay-per-view. I don't mean to brag, but it's going to be pretty hard for Monday Night Raw to come back after the Payback pay-per-view because we have so many great matches, and I know that history will be made. And I wanted to come out here just to thank all of you guys for tuning into SmackDown Live every week and making this the A show, making this the success that it has been over the last couple of years. And I know that ever since the brand split, SmackDown Live has just been getting better, and it's all thanks to the WWE Universe. So thank you all for joining SmackDown Live. Wait a minute. What's going on right now? That's Dolph Ziggler's music. The show off now coming out here to interrupt the Chief Commissioner after talking about Payback. And I guess that Dolph Ziggler may not be so happy about the fact that he has not been included on the card for Payback. Of course, Payback will be coming your way in 2 weeks, contrary of Aiden and Pacini Wrestling and Kaiser Wrestling. So I have to say it's going to be one hell of an event, and that's going to be an event that Dolph Ziggler does not want to miss. But his name is not on the card, and I got to say right now, Dolph Ziggler, all he wants to do is try to weasel his way into that card for the Payback pay-per-view. So what's going to happen right now? What is Dolph Ziggler even doing out here? SmackDown Live, the land of opportunity, huh, Shane? Payback is supposed to be this 5-star show, huh? Well, let me tell you exactly why Payback is going to be a failure. Because you may have all those matches, you may have given everybody opportunities, but where is Dolph Ziggler's opportunity? You don't have me even featured on the card, not even for the pre-show, and you expect these fans to come and watch Payback after you left out the most important superstar on the SmackDown Live roster? I always knew that you were an imbecile, Shane, but I never thought that you would stoop this low. And then you wonder why your own father wanted to give Triple H the company instead of you. You wonder why your own father preferred Triple H's way of management over yours, and this is exactly why. Because unlike you, Triple H and Vince McMahon know talent. They know what these people want to see, but instead you decide to hold me back because you want to conspire against me. Because you have a problem with me being that damn good. You know what? That's perfectly fine, Shane, because everybody in that backstage locker room is jealous of me. I'm not featured on the card because none of those superstars are good enough to share the same ring with me, and you know that. That's why you didn't want to put me on the show, because what you want to do is hold me back and make them look better. Because when it comes to my talent, when it comes to my ability, when it comes to what I can do in the middle of this ring, me and you both know that I am the best. I am better than the United States Champion AJ Styles. I am better than your WWE Champion Jinder Mahal. And I sure as hell am way better than the face that runs the place, John Cena. But I don't care about them, Shane. You know why? Because they're below me, just like you are. You always will be below me. You'll be below everybody. That's exactly why you're always going to be an afterthought, because you are a failure. How does it feel, Shane, huh? Having to go home after hard days at work and tell your kids that you're not good enough because their uncle is going to be the next man in line to run the company because their daddy just can't handle it. I know it must eat you inside, and it probably eats at them too when they look at their father every single day and see the failure of a man that I see standing before me right now. That they see that you have absolutely no future because you have reached your peak of potential. But there's a silver lining to this all, because every time that Dolph Ziggler walks down to the middle of this ring, you can tell your kids, hey, that's what a real man looks like. That's what you guys want to be when you grow up. You don't want to be anything like me. You want to be like Dolph Ziggler, the man who has all the popularity and the man who gets all the ladies. And while you're at that, you could go home and tell your wife, if she wants to have a real man, she knows where to find me. Wow, what disrespect from Dolph Ziggler. Oh, Shane's had enough! Ladies and gentlemen, Dolph Ziggler has pushed Shane McMahon to his breaking point, and now look at how SmackDown Live Chief Commissioner, he is teeing off on Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler striking a chord with McMahon by mentioning his family, and Shane McMahon with a vicious right hand, and that busts open Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler has no idea what's going on, and neither do we. We have never seen Shane McMahon this furious in his whole entire WWE career. And now look at Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon just trying to run in that ring. He is running laps right now, and he has that steel chair. Now McMahon slides in. Look at Dolph Ziggler trying to get to his feet, and Shane McMahon goes for the chair shot, but instead tries to nail Ziggler in the gut, and Dolph Ziggler was trying to fight back, but so much for that. Shane McMahon is all over Ziggler right now. The blood coming out at him. McMahon just tackling Ziggler to the outside. Wow, the momentum of Dolph Ziggler making all the equipment come off the announcement table. What the hell does Shane McMahon have in mind now as he tosses Ziggler gut first into that table? And now Shane McMahon and Dolph Ziggler going for a brawl right now as McMahon tossing Dolph Ziggler right back into the table. And now look at Shane McMahon with a left hand, and Dolph Ziggler once again off the table. This right here is absolutely ferocious by Shane McMahon. And now what does Shane McMahon have planned now? You gotta be kidding me. Dolph Ziggler is lifeless. The show-off has no idea where he is, and Shane McMahon about to make Dolph Ziggler pay for his sins. Shane McMahon about to fly off the top of an elbow through the announcement table. Dolph Ziggler is broken in half. Shane McMahon with the avalanche elbow off the top to the announcement table. And Dolph Ziggler is now regretting messing with the Chief Commissioner. The referees have to attend to Dolph Ziggler as Shane McMahon committing a dirty deed tonight. What is this going to mean for Shane McMahon and Dolph Ziggler in the future? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SmackDown Live, and it is main event time as we have four of the biggest superstars in SmackDown Live tonight competing in a tag team match as John Cena teams up with Y2J Chris Jericho to take on Kevin Owens and the United States Champion AJ Styles. At the Payback pay-per-view, John Cena will be stepping in Hell in a Cell to compete for the United States Championship against the man who claims that he is the face that runs the place, the man who is phenomenal, the man who is AJ Styles. And John Cena had a lot of heated words for AJ Styles last week, saying that he does this for the fans, that he does this for people's satisfaction, for everybody who buys a ticket to SmackDown Live shows. And John Cena is going to use that motivation to leave the Payback pay-per-view as the new United States Champion. But hopefully he'll be able to topple AJ Styles, who's been very impressive as of recent times. So John Cena has an opportunity tonight to get the advantage over AJ Styles in this tag team match. And speaking of advantage, here comes Y2J Chris Jericho, who has a date set against Kevin Owens at the Payback pay-per-view. Former friends will collide at Payback, and hopefully Chris Jericho will be able to impress yet again by picking up a victory over the self-proclaimed face of America, Kevin Owens. So Chris Jericho a former 9-time Intercontinental Champion in WWE, the first ever undisputed champion in WWE history. He's going to try to relive his former glory by beating Kevin Owens and raising up the ranks on SmackDown Live. We cannot doubt Chris Jericho, because it seems for Jericho, age is just a number, because Chris Jericho continues to get better in that ring every single time we see him compete. And tonight he's going to be teaming up with a big name in John Cena to get the better of Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. You have to mention Chris Jericho's chance of going for the United States Championship in the future. They seem rather likely. He may be facing the winner of John Cena and AJ Styles at Payback. Who knows what's next for Chris Jericho? Who knows what's next for Kevin Owens? But all I know for right now is that Owens and Jericho want to beat the hell out of each other come Payback, and they may do that tonight as well in our main event. So if you just joined us right now, my name is Kaiser, wrestling on the behalf of Aiden and Pacini Wrestling. Welcome to SmackDown Live GM Mode. I'm the man who's going to be hosting the SmackDown Live broadcast. And here comes the prize fighter, Kevin Owens. A former 2-time Intercontinental Champion, a former Universal Champion, and a former NXT Champion under his belt for Kevin Owens. And Owens now has a chance to beat one of the greatest of all time, and Chris Jericho. You have to remember, these two men were best friends over on Monday Night Raw. Getting drafted to SmackDown Live, they are bitter enemies. Ever since the Festival of Friendship, that was the closing moment of Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho's friendship, and now their rivalry runs deep on SmackDown Live, and it's going to continue at the Payback pay-per-view. Will Kevin Owens be able to upset Jericho tonight in this tag team match? And I got to say, the chances are highly likely for Kevin Owens teaming up with a man the caliber of the United States Champion, AJ Styles. So now we are waiting on AJ Styles, and here comes the phenomenal one. The face that runs the place and the champ that runs the camp. And he has that United States Championship around his waist to prove it. AJ Styles. And it is now right to mention that next week, AJ Styles will be in singles competition as he faces Dolph Ziggler. That match was made by Shane McMahon, and hopefully Dolph Ziggler will be in enough condition to face AJ Styles. We just witnessed one hell of a beatdown from Shane McMahon on the show-off, and now he has to face AJ Styles next week. That's going to be one hell of a match. Mark it in your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. But right now it's main event time. AJ Styles and Kevin Owens versus Jericho and Cena. Who is going to lead with the advantage? It's going to be one hell of a tag team match to call. I'm very excited to be a part of this action. So it seems like we got John Cena and Kevin Owens starting out this match on SmackDown Live as the referee calls for the bell, and here we go. So now Owens grabs Cena and takes him down with a released German suplex already. So how big would it be for Kevin Owens to beat John Cena tonight? That would be crucial for Owens' career on SmackDown Live, because we know that Kevin Owens has what it takes to be a world champion. Like we said, he's a former Universal Champion, but if he beats John Cena, he could possibly be in line for a WWE Championship opportunity against Jinder Mahal or Randy Orton in the future. A stomp right there to the chest there of Kevin Owens, and the elbow to the spine to follow. Well, that's one thing about John Cena. Even though John Cena is a fun-loving superstar, you cannot hold out on Cena, because John Cena, pound for pound, one of the toughest men to ever step between the ropes in a WWE ring. But Kevin Owens just kicking John Cena off like a springboard, and now Owens with a couple of kicks to the back and the chest of Cena. No nonsense style from Kevin Owens. He could beat any man down, and he will take all the air out of your body right before you get going. Is now Cena going to quickly make the tag to Chris Jericho, and this is exactly what we're going to be seeing at the Payback pay-per-view. Jericho versus Owens. It's underway in this tag team match in our main event. Now Kevin Owens has Chris Jericho locked in the tree of woe. What is Owens at play now? Look at this, just digging the foot right in the face of Chris Jericho. Talk about disrespect. And now Kevin Owens knows that he has the advantage over Y2J. And now Jericho with a slap right across the face of Owens. That right there is right in your face. Chris Jericho, very old school. And all he cares about is leaving a beating on his former best friend. Nothing flashy about Jericho, but all business. Is a Michinoku driver by Kevin Owens. Takes down his former best friend. And a tag made to the United States Champion. Here comes AJ Styles. And now Styles gets hit with a right hand there from Jericho. And now how about that double underhook German from Y2J? Talk about the history between Chris Jericho and AJ Styles. When AJ Styles first debuted in the Royal Rumble, it was AJ Styles who actually had a rivalry with Chris Jericho soon afterwards. So now, AJ Styles with a knee right across the face there of Chris Jericho. And now AJ Styles continuing the beatdown. So like we said, Chris Jericho and AJ Styles, they were friends for a little while. So it's pretty ironic that now Jericho facing two of his former friends. Let's hold that thought as AJ Styles delivers the springboard moonsault on Chris Jericho when Jericho takes down Styles with the Russian leg sweep. So Chris Jericho has been friends with both AJ Styles and Kevin Owens in the past. Of course, that is not the case right now because I feel like both men loathe Chris Jericho. But Jericho is looking the goods against AJ Styles, and it's only a matter of time before we see Jericho make a play for that United States Championship. And now AJ Styles with a Pele kick, catching Chris Jericho right on the top of the head. Cover now by the United States Champion, and a kick out at 1.5 by Jericho. That is one thing about Chris Jericho. Jericho has a lot of heart and determination. It's going to be really hard to keep down the former 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Now Jericho hits the jawbreaker, and Enziguri catches AJ Styles right behind the neck. That right there was not expected by Styles, and a tag made to Cena. This is going to be the match that we're going to see within Hell in a Cell come Payback. John Cena versus the United States Champion AJ Styles, and the title will be up for grabs at Payback. Now AJ Styles is able to swat Cena away and delivers a release German in Cena's neck, hitting the ropes on the way down. That was a very uncomfortable landing for John Cena. Cena, he was going for the shoulder tackle, the trademark shoulder tackle, and now Styles, big time face buster on Cena, and John Cena getting hung up on the ropes as well. John Cena having a couple of hard landings from the phenomenal one, and now AJ Styles dragging Cena into his corner. I think he was thinking about tagging in Kevin Owens, and now instead John Cena grabs hold of AJ Styles in a tornado DDT, using assistance from the top turnbuckle. And now once again John Cena going to tag in Chris Jericho. Smart tags from John Cena. He does not want to take too much offense from AJ Styles heading into Payback. And now you see Chris Jericho going to toss AJ Styles into the corner. What's going to happen right now for Y2J? And now Y2J takes an elbow right to the shoulder blade from AJ Styles. And now Styles going to go tagging Kevin Owens. And once again we're going to be seeing the showdown that we will see at Payback. Owens and Jericho. Who will get the better of who tonight on SmackDown Live? Now wait a minute. Where's Kevin Owens at playing now? He has Jericho hung up on the ropes. And now look at this. Oh my God. It's Kevin Owens just digging the knee right into the back of the neck of Jericho. Nothing pretty about that. I think Jericho's left leg was under the rope. It was not going to allow Kevin Owens to capitalize just yet. So now Kevin Owens just stomping around the leg of Chris Jericho. And like we said, there's nothing pretty about the offense of Kevin Owens, but by God, is it very effective. Kevin Owens knows how to hurt a man in a million different ways, and we're seeing that right now. As Chris Jericho, I think he was going for a suplex there as Owens. Oh, takes a clothesline from Jericho and flattens the face of America. And now he was going for a roundhouse kick. Kevin Owens able to evade, and Jericho clubbing right hand right to the back of Kevin Owens. And now instead, Chris Jericho catches Owens off guard. We all know what's happening now. Owens in a world of trouble as Jericho locks in the walls. Kevin Owens may have to tap out. He's tapped out to this move before as Kevin Owens trying to crawl to those ropes. Kevin Owens in a world of trouble, but instead using the strong legs to bungee Jericho to the other side. And now you saw Chris Jericho going to clap the ears of Owens, and instead Owens running over Jericho like a freight train. And now KO. What does he have planned now? Going to toss Chris Jericho back in the corner of himself and AJ Styles, and a tag made. United States Champion. Look at this. It's Kevin Owens now. Wraps up Jericho in a package pile driver. And AJ Styles grabs hold of Jericho into the brain buster. What a combination from Owens and Styles. Covered now by the United States Champion on Jericho, and a kick out at 2 by Y2J. That right there was a beautiful tag team combination from AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. I gotta say, the United States Champion and the face of America make one hell of a tag team. And now Jericho, elbow right across the chest of AJ Styles. And now wait a minute, as AJ Styles may be in danger, Chris Jericho may be thinking code breaker and gets all of it. The code breaker taking AJ Styles out of commission. Can Chris Jericho pin the United States Champion tonight on SmackDown Live? Would this be enough? And no, AJ Styles kicks out at 2. And I think either way, Kevin Owens would have been there to break up the cover. I think Chris Jericho may want to consider tagging in John Cena, as now Chris Jericho, springboard frog splash, landing right on the spine of AJ Styles. Now Styles takes down Jericho yet again by his feet. And now what does AJ Styles have planned? Is now Styles picks up Jericho, fireman's carry it to the neck breaker. Chris Jericho may be out. He's been taking a lot of offense from both Owens and Styles. And now the United States Champion just walking around Chris Jericho trying to analyze his opponent to come up with an idea. And oh, Styles with an elbow right to the forehead of Jericho trying to bust open Y2J. And now Styles trying to grab hold of Jericho. And Jericho counters with a DDT. And AJ Styles showing the wounds of war. He is busted open. And Chris Jericho rolling into the cover yet again. Can't blame him, but Styles kicks out at 2. If you're John Cena, you have to be loving this right now because AJ Styles may suffer an injury. And we have to remember AJ Styles has to go one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler next week as well. And now Styles goes back to the outside. What is the United States Champion? The Phenomenal One thinking right now. AJ Styles maybe thinking about flying. Phenomenal forearm right to the back of the neck. Chris Jericho has to be out, but instead AJ Styles tags in Kevin Owens. Because even though AJ Styles landed that phenomenal forearm, he did not get all of it. And now Kevin Owens is going to try to take advantage. Jericho is down, and Cena will be there to break up the cover. And luckily for Chris Jericho, this match continues on thanks to the face that runs the place. And now Chris Jericho with a jawbreaker on Kevin Owens, stunning the prize fighter, and a Northern Light suplex by Jericho. Normally Chris Jericho holds the cover, but he does not have a lot of energy. He's been taking a lot of offense. He's taking a package pile driver. He's also taking a phenomenal forearm, but there goes the Lion Saw by Chris Jericho on Kevin Owens, and a kick out at 2 by KO. Owens staying alive right now as John Cena trying to rally up this crowd behind Chris Jericho to keep him in this match. And now Kevin Owens grabs a hold of Y2J. What does he have planned now as KO tosses Jericho in the corner. He was going for a kick to the gut. Maybe thinking about going for that cannonball, but instead Jericho backs up off Owens. And a stomp right to the back of the neck. Nothing pretty about that from Jericho. A right hand that levels Owens in the corner. And Kevin Owens able to counter with a fireman's carry takedown. What a tag team match to close out SmackDown Live, ladies and gentlemen. As now Chris Jericho is trying to grab Owens. And instead Owens with the right hand tosses Jericho into the corner. And now I think Kevin Owens maybe going through what he originally had planned. Kick right to the gut there of Chris Jericho. Kevin Owens now. I think he was going for the cannonball, but instead a kick right to the gut. Is Kevin Owens relentless right now? Normally he hits that cannonball, but instead drags Jericho out of the corner and plants him down with a power bomb. And now speaking of power bomb, and maybe pop-up power bomb time, is now Kevin Owens with a kick right to the gut of Jericho. Pop-up power bomb in motion. Down goes Jericho. Cena needs to save his partner, and now Cena will break it up at 2. Really almost leaving me speechless. I thought this was the end for Jericho and Cena. Chris Jericho, oh, code breaker out of nowhere. Kevin Owens is laid out. Jericho needs to go for the cover. Kevin Owens taking a vicious code break. We may be suffering from one of those at the Payback pay-per-view. AJ Styles has no idea, but there goes the victory for Chris Jericho and John Cena. I cannot believe it. AJ Styles was not paying attention. I think he had too much faith in Kevin Owens to kick out of that one. The referee took some time to get into the cover as well, but at the end of the night, it was that code breaker. That was the difference between a win and a loss for Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. What a match to close out SmackDown Live, though, ladies and gentlemen. What a tag team match, and you all will remember here in GM mode. You saw Chris Jericho. He had that Walls of Jericho lynched in tight on Kevin Owens. And AJ Styles went for the cover on Jericho later on in that match. But Chris Jericho right there kicking out at 2. Look at this right here. Boom! Out of nowhere, the code breaker right onto the jaw of Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens was on Dream Street. AJ Styles had no idea what was going on because I think that blood from his head was blinding his vision. Chris Jericho got into the cover. John Cena came in fast to make sure AJ Styles was nowhere to be seen. And that was the end of this match for Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. What a victory for John Cena and Chris Jericho. If you like this episode of GM Mode, please subscribe to Aiden and Pacini Wrestling. Please like this episode as well. And also, do not forget to check out my channel, which is Kaiser Wrestling. As always, have a great day. Take care. I will see you on the next episode of SmackDown Live. Show some love for Aiden and Pacini's Monday Night Raw episodes as well. And take care, guys. We will see you next video.